What's up, guys? So I'm doing this Q&A for anything really, but the theme is about the Viking version 2, which is out, and also any questions about the V-Baby or requests is welcome. Also, yeah, just hang out and let's see where it goes. So I'm waiting for viewers. So please use the chat. Let me know about the sound, if the sound is okay, or if it should be higher. I put the microphone up here. So it's a little bit far away from me, but yeah, let me know if it's okay or not okay. So here's the Viking. So what I did is I colored all the new parts yellow, so it's easy for you to view the model and see what parts you should change or not. But not all these parts is needed. The parts for the C drive. Thank you, Alex, for the feedback on the sound. So the parts for the C drive, let's have a look at the C drive assembly. And this is the base frame. And let's just have a look at this. This is a separate assembly. Let's open that and have a look at what I did. I'm just gonna walk you through it. There's nothing big going on here, so you can still use the old parts, but I just simplified it because I tend to over-engineer stuff and then I go back and simplify stuff later. So this is now only like 2 parts. We have the lid, but I'm not counting the lid. So we have 2 parts now instead of 3 parts before. So it's simpler, it's easier to print, and it's simpler to assemble, much simpler to assemble. The previous solution was terrible to assemble. This is much more easy and is also less hardware. So there's in the chat, the Roma Studio, he states that he likes 2 C motors more. I think that's 2 C motors could be nice if you have them synced, but the problem is that it does get a little bit more complicated than running 1 motor like I do here. Because if they come out of sync, then, well, your print will not be very good. And with a rod solution like this, there is no sync issues. It will always lift the same on both sides. So that's what I like about this setup. It would be interesting to test a dual C or even a triple C now that I run the Duet. I could go for the expansion board and run true leveling system with 3 C drives. That's an option. Still, I'm still looking for options for this worm gear, because the worm gear is not like the best quality. We do have the Mizumi worm gear option, which is of course much more expensive, but it's also a much higher quality gear. So the current gear is not like it works, but if you go to very detailed printing, this is a workhorse. Of course, it's meant to build like big parts or many parts quickly. So it's not really built to produce like super miniature detailed prints. So for its use, I think the gear works as it should. And now my Fusion 360 is freezing up. So yeah, let's go back to the top assembly and have a look. So I've talked about the bottom parts, which is yellow, which is new. They are just redesigned, nothing special. But if we go to the bed assembly, we have this part. This is different, and not by much. I don't remember how much, but if you are going to change to the mellow idlers or the gate idlers, which I have in the assembly now, then you should print this part. You can still use the old lock, or yeah, this tab, what I should call it. Same with this guy, the top anchor point for the belted C. This is also different. And it's all due to these gears, idlers, which has a different profile than the cheap Chinese idlers. Let me have a look in the chat if there is any questions. Let me come back to the V-Baby infill, Alex. Let me just finish what I started here about the new parts. So you need 2 of this one, and you need these 2 parts are actually different. I should probably name them with some letters or something. But there is a motor side and a rod side, so they are mirrored. But that's all in the GitHub folder. So just make sure that you place, you know, the M part on this side where you have the motor, and then the rod part, the R part, on this side. That's important, or else it will not work. Also, we have the corner idler brackets. So these are marked actually with a G, so that you can see that these are for the gates idlers or the mellow idlers. They are the same profile. So these are new, and that's the same part in both corners. If we have a look at the x-axis, we have these 2 parts, this one and this one, which is the same part. So you print 2 of those, and that's also changed due to the height of the idlers. Before I talk about the X carrier, I just want to mention the Titan extruder body bracket, which I just recently today changed the design because it was way overdue, and this is just a much simpler solution, easier to print, and yeah, just much simpler. So that's new today. And I'm gonna talk about this cabinet later. Before I do that, let's go to the X carrier, and let's actually open the X carrier. So that we can have a better look at it. Okay. So all these yellow parts are new. This part, I will also have to say that all these parts, which is yellow here, is also available for the old version 1. So you can convert the version 1 with the the previous idler solution. You can convert that. I will show you where it is on GitHub. And this is kind of important. So you don't have to go all the way with new idlers and everything. You can change to because the new X carrier is really nice with a better cooling system, both for the fan, both for the hot end and for also layer cooling. So go to part library, go to discontinued. We are going to look in the discontinued, X discontinued, and then there's a folder here, X carrier version 2 old idlers. I don't know what to call it. So these are the parts you want if you do want to just convert your X carrier on your version 1. That's all fine. But those parts does not have a G on them. So I marked most, not all. I should probably mark all parts with a G, but the Gates idler conversion parts are mostly marked G. Some of them I need to do still. Actually, this guy is the same. So this is the same for the old idler type and also the new the Gates version. This is the same. So only this one, the carrier and the belt locks are different on this carrier. So we have, let's just have a look at this carrier. So there's an integrated fan system here, like I have on the V-Baby. We can go inside and inspect it. So let's just slice it and go to analysis. Here we can see inside the carrier. So the fan blows air down here behind the hot end, and then the air blows through these ribs and out in the front here. It just works amazing. It's a really great setup. And then we have we can have a look also inside here. So we have the layer fans, or the item fans, or what you want to call them. So they blow down here and in a 33-degree angle towards the nozzle. So the air should come out just below the nozzle and do very good cooling on both sides. Any questions regarding this? So while I'm talking about the X carrier, because there's questions about the direct drive, and I understand that some people want a direct drive. The thing with a big CoreXY, you want it to move fast, because usually you print with a big nozzle and the high volume prints, and you want it to go quickly and so on, and you want a light X carrier. So that's why we use the Bowden system. But of course, for more detailed operations, you want a direct drive, and also for flexible material, of course. The thing is that I have been looking, and I think I will work against adding a direct drive solution. It depends a little bit on funding and so on, because I need to buy some parts which might be a little bit expensive. I'm looking at the new BMG CR10 option. So that's about $150, I think. That's not a cheap, there's not a clone on that one at this point. So the problem, because I made this fan system, it's kind of in the way now for a direct drive, because the direct drive needs to sit on top here somewhere, the motor and the extruder. So then I had to just leave this fan system out and make a front fan system like before. So that's kind of disappointing, but I guess I can live with that after a while. So that's what I'm thinking so far. If you have any input regarding direct drives and so on, then let me know. So yeah. So, and that's basically it. Of course, there's a lot of new stuff on the component list. Let's have a look at the component list. So it's all new. It's basically just I copied the V-Baby component list, and I made some changes to that one, of course, to make it fit the Viking. But the stock controller now for both machines is a duet type controller. Of course, you should go with the genuine duet if you can, but if not, then well, there's a link to a clone in the bill of materials. So let's have a look at the bill of materials. So here, you know, the all mechanical kit, you can still buy that from Maker Supplies, or you can of course buy V-slots and so on separately. Then you will have to source all the hardware like fasteners and so on yourself, which can be kind of not a fun job. Let's say it like that. We have the idlers, we have the smooth idlers, and we have the toothed idlers. We have the pulleys. So these are all now mellow idlers. They are a little bit more expensive, but they are so much better. So it's not even funny. And of course a Gates type timing belt. We have the precision shims that you should use together with the idlers. So these are, I found that the 6.5 outer dimension and 5 inner dimension and 1 millimeter thick is the best option. I had the bowden tube and so on, nylon sleeve. I added the nylon sleeve and cable loom to the list, so you can also get that from AliExpress. We have the Duet Wi-Fi clone here, and we have the SKR option, of course. My V-Baby is still running on the SKR, and it just runs good, so I guess I don't bother with that. But I have another V-Baby over here, which I'm going to add the Duet on. So yeah. Nothing special here, of course. New fans on this machine. The controller fan, I went with a 40 millimeter controller fan, and previously it was a 60, but that was just overkill. Was no use for a 60 mil. And yeah, blower fan and blowers for layer fans and so on. And of course you have the good heat plate, which is very important on a machine like this, to have a solid base to print on, and it should be heavy. The more heavy the better, actually. It will be more stable, and it will not warp and so on. So yeah, what else do we have? Safety fuse, the thermal safety fuse, I added that one, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Of course, there are some options here. The SKR option, as I told you, the Titan Original, a cheap aluminum bed if you cannot afford the good one, and a high-end gear and so on. So that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. So any questions now? The V-Baby, about the parts on the V-Baby, about the infill percentage. Yeah, that's a good question. I think most parts print, I think they are mostly 4mm walls, and the 4mm walls should be printed 100%. The way I print the shell, or yeah, the walls and also the shell, the top bottom shell, I print them all 4mm. So it's solid. The 4mm is, sorry, now I'm struggling a little bit. I print them. Let me open Cura and show you. That's much easier. So here we go. Let me open a V-Baby part. So V-Baby CoreXY part print files. Let's do base frame parts. Let's have a look at this motor body. So the way I print this one, these are all 4mm walls, and they should be solid. You don't want any infill in between. The same with you know, what's on the bed here. But there is some parts. Let me slice it and show you. So let's slice it at 0.25mm. I recommend 0.2 or 0.25 for printing layer height. The thing is that if you have a 0.4 nozzle, I do print with a 0.5 nozzle, which makes it easier for me to align to like 4mm wall. Actually, a 0.4 nozzle also will align. Let me just slice it and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna leave this to 0.4. My line width is going to be 0.5, and I'm doing 4 walls. I'm doing 8 top layers and 8 bottom layers. So let's have a look at this now. So if you see, like, the bottom here is all solid in 4mm, and then you can see there are some infill here. So this part is typically 25%. You could print it 100, that's no problem. There's not a lot of time to save printing it with 25% as to 100, so I just recommend do it 100. But some parts where there's a lot of infill, like a big, I don't remember any parts right now, but if you come to a part where there's a lot of infill, then of course you should use typically 25% infill, or else just go with 100. Let us see, this is 2 hours now. Let me do 100 and let's see. Slice it. So it's not the time difference is really not much, and it's a little bit more heavy, but who cares? That we are talking about a few grams, and the heavier the frame is, the better it is. So yeah, do this 100%, I would say. Okay. Yeah, I want to talk about the line width, because if you see on my model here, the lines add up in the wall, which is very nice. You get a very solid and nice wall. So if I set my line width to 0.4, let's see what happens. This is something I want to avoid. I do not want this to happen, because actually now you can see the print time went up with 1 hour doing this. And you get a nozzle action in between. If you see the yellow part in the wall here, there's a lot of nozzle action going to fill this void which is there. So what you could do, you could set your line wall line count to 5 with a 0.4 nozzle, and it should add up, which it does, because 5 plus 5 is 10, and 10 times 0.4 is 4 millimeter. So if you are printing with a 0.4 nozzle, I suggest that you go with a 0.5 line width, or that you do 5 wall lines. This is getting complicated, I know, sorry. I'm trying my best here. So is there any questions regarding this, as it's to slicing and infill on parts? You guys were quiet now. Maybe I talked too much. Yeah, okay. So I guess if there's not any more questions, I will round off in 5 minutes. So let's give it 5 more minutes, and then we can take the weekend. What you guys doing in the weekend anyway? What's up, 3D Print Viking? Viking? What do you guys think about direct drive anyway? Would you prefer a direct drive, or do you prefer a Bowden on a machine like this? I guess maybe the Baby would be more suitable for a direct drive. I don't know. I'm also contemplating on making a railed conversion kit for the X-axis first, maybe also the Y-axis. I think I will do that on the V-Baby, just to try it out. I don't know. People say so many things about the rails, you know. Some say, oh, it's so much better, and some say that, oh, you need high-end rails, and those are a lot of money, so I'm not going with that for sure. And I think on a 3D printer, how bad can it be? Because we are working with very low tolerances. So these wheels, they are pretty good, but still, you know, I think a rail cannot be worse than the wheels, really. What concerns me is like noise and maintenance and stuff like that on those rails, with all the balls and running around and whatnot. So yeah. Ymir Ymir CoreXY. That's a nice CoreXY Ymir. I don't remember who Ymir is, but I suggest that it has to do with Norse mythology. Alex is printing a V-Baby this weekend. Filament arrives today. Well, good luck, mister. So again, just go with 100%. Make sure that you fill the walls with your line width. I think that's a very nice tip. So you save time and also you get a more solid model. LDO rails. What is LDO rails? That doesn't say anything to me. And Alex would like to design a tool changer mechanism. Yeah, I've been thinking about that for a long time. But it's, yeah, that's like a big task to do if you want to do it good. But it would be really nice to have a tool changer for sure. Norse mythology, yeah. Ah, okay. I see. So Ymir was our father. I like that. LDO rails. What rails are those? I have to Google that now. Linear lay rails, LDO. Is that like a brand, LDO? Looks like it. So these guys. MG M12H, I think you want, not C. I guess C is the small ones. Maybe you want. I was never really sure about going with H or C. What would you suggest for the rails or the carrier on the rails? Yeah. Of course, you guys are lagging a little bit from when I'm talking. So that's why I'll get quiet once in a while. I have to wait for your answers. That's okay. So yeah, so these are $35. That's not too bad actually. That's actually a really good good tip. So I will look into those. H is a bit wider, yes, I know. Maybe it's also easier to mount stuff on the H than the C, so I guess H is the one to go with, even though you get more travel with the C carrier. Yeah. I did actually order one rail, so it's it's on the way with a boat from Asia, somewhere around the world. I don't know when it's gonna come. It's been like months to wait for parts from China these days. So that's it, guys. I don't have anything more exciting to share with you. If you don't have any more questions, I think we are going to round it off. So what do you guys say? I'll just leave it like that, and I wish you a nice weekend, and we will yeah, I will see you guys soon with something. Okay guys, ciao.